All right, we're going to talk about some mistakes that I made this week and what I'm looking at coming up next week. So before I do so, come to ztrades.net, check out the terms and conditions page right up here. Agree to our disclaimer and our terms and conditions. If you don't watch the video. Don't join the Discord. If you do agree to it, you can join the Discord right here, completely free. Let's jump into this. I'm going to go into what I'm watching here. And I want to end it in the mistakes I made on VXX as well as TLT. Made a lot of great trades on the day trading side. There was two swings, 2 out of 3 that I had an issue with. One was a rookie mistake that I know better. The other one I should have been thinking a little bit deeper there. But what happened. TLT, it did spike. But I'll get into that. DJT, the share lockup is ending. I think the share lockup is it the 23rd? I think it is. It's this week, regardless. I'll probably put it in the description of this video after I go ahead and release this video on YouTube. But I'm expecting after the lockup, it could drop a little bit lower. Regardless, I think it's at its bottom. I'm expecting this thing to pop back up. We have mean divergence over here, and I mean it is mean. Look at that divergence right there. So we'll see. This could obviously, the RSI could keep dropping. It isn't really divergence until we start to pop up off this. We need to see if that's going to happen. Good thing is I'm not in it right now. I'm in some 2.5 cash secured puts. It's not going to 2.5 in my opinion anytime soon. Possibly after elections, I suppose, but I'm not in any DJT right now. Equity, I was short selling it. I covered the shorts, and I'm not in any calls, but I'm eyeing that. That could squeeze. This thing could squeeze. All the people selling short because it was kind of obvious we were going to drop, which is why I sold short. It could have one big gap down, but there are a lot of buyers on the sidelines that know what I know and are expecting this to do what I'm expecting. So calls possibly, depending on how cheap they are. This is when you buy calls, when it's diving like this and the call side is all skewed and the IV isn't too bad. We'll look into it and see if what the IV looks like, and yeah, and I'm not chasing. I don't want to take it after it spikes up. Then the call side is all skewed, the IV is all cooked, and then I'm buying it for a swing. I don't chase spikes for swings. That's not something I do. Downtrending like this is something I would do because the second it squeezes, that call side, oh my gosh, I'll immediately be in profit. It'll be fantastic. So let's go ahead and take a look at where DJT is one I'm looking at. Before I get into more here, let's take a look at Coinbase. Again, I am still looking at Coinbase. This looks good, but it can also drop again to retest the bottom of this channel. That's something we're going to have to take a look at to see if it happens. I've done a starter position on some equity here. I'm going to make that line red because if it cracks it, that's not good. We could come into this zone over here. But I'd like to see us bust out of that. I really would, and we're respecting this EMA over here. So I'd like to see us at least get up to 190 again. If we can crack that, we should be smooth sailing. We are 15 days out, 15 to 20 days out now for when Bitcoin historically starts running after the halving. That's coming up real short. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Already green on a lot of my positions. Keep an eye on Coinbase coming up. The TA looks great. That's the daily. Weekly doesn't look too bad. Would love to see it come back up into the 270s and actually crack higher. It'd be nice to see this area over here in the 360s, maybe mid 2025 by, between February and April, somewhere around there. I'm expecting Bitcoin to do maybe a 3 to 5 month run starting in about a month in October, maybe mid to late October. So we may have some downside on the market in November, early to mid-November. December, I expect us to just push on through. Always remember, to watch out for January. January is a predictor of the year. If we're bearish in January, this is an old school rule. If we're bearish in January, we're usually bearish for the year. If we're bullish in January, usually we're bullish for the year. That doesn't mean that it's set in stone just because we're bearish or bullish, but the chances are skewed higher on that side, just like in 2022. It's kind of obvious we're going to be bearish. If you didn't know that, you need to really learn your fundamentals here and start learning about the Fed. They were hiking interest rates. People that were holding were out of their mind. I was arguing with people everywhere, and we were bearish in January. You know, in 2021, we were bullish in January. Were we bullish that year? We were. 2023, were we bullish in January? Yes. Were we bullish for the rest of the year? We were. Let's see what January has in store for us. I'll come back and revisit that statement I just made in late December. So Coinbase I am watching. I am watching DJT. There was something else we had going on here. There was another stock that I'm watching, MU. I'm really watching MU. Look at this. This looks good. We're holding this trend line as well. We are respecting it. This isn't my normal. Let me go ahead and shrink this. I usually have different bottom studies on there. We really don't need them right now, but let's just see what we got going on in MU here. I can draw some art. Doesn't look bad. Really doesn't look bad. I really want to see us start to pop up. You know, if we could clear 100, this thing could really soar, but I want to see us at least pass this high and this high over here, right around 94. I'm considering, if we're bullish, entering on Monday for end of the year swings, but we've got a lot to clear over in here, a whole bunch to clear. Even if we shot up to 95, getting in, you know, in the 90 area would be fantastic. Yes, let's take a look at QQQ as well. I want to take a look at QQQ. I don't know what the heck that is. That must be from a different time frame. Yeah. You guys see it? We're still looking bullish. This is surprising for September. Very, very surprising. So we'll see what happens here if we bust out of that. Mara as well. Been watching Mara and what we have going on there. So would like to see it. We've got a lot to crack. We've got to crack all that. Riot guys, that thing is, they are diluting the crap out of that. Mara's going to be Mara, right? I really don't care where it goes. Anywhere from 13 to 16, that's cool. I'm not paying attention to it. I'm selling options on it. That's it. I am in equity. If we see the 13s, I may pick up more shares. When Bitcoin starts to boom next year, I expect Mara to easily be in this area over here. Easily come all the way back up to this area where it has been rejecting. That whole area is where I see Mara going next year. Let's take a look at what I did wrong. Okay? So we had quad witching. There was people in the group that swung calls on quad witching. Why would you do that? Anyways, let's take a look at what I did right when it came to the swing. I bought SPY calls right over, SPY puts in this range over here. It ripped higher. I sold a bunch here and we dropped, and I sold a little bit more and I swung the rest. So I bought it, let's say around 572. This thing saw 565, almost a $10 move, and I was in Mondays for the 23rd. Made decent money on that. Some pretty good money on that. Here's where I went wrong. You don't swing VXX calls if you're bearish on the market. You don't do that. Why do people do that? Because it's inexpensive to swing VXX calls instead of puts. It doesn't work. VIX does not work. VIX, I only swing trade puts on, and I only swing trade and I only scalp puts on. I never buy calls on VIX. It will not work. SPY almost had a $10 move, okay, to the downside. Let's take a look at this. I entered VIX somewhere over in here for calls for a swing, and I was like, let me break my rules. It's quad witching September. We've never been bullish the following day. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. We've always opened lower or went lower. always. So maybe I can get away with breaking my rule. Big mistake. VIX was around 48 and it saw freaking 46 while the market was dropping and VIX was going with it. This is why you only play puts on VIX. VIX has a spike up. Beautiful opportunity to sell short as a swing. There is no expiration. And or buy puts depending on the IV. Example. Let's take a look at an example. Well, there's one right there. Look at that massive hanging man. Imagine if you would have sold short at 90. And within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15 days, we're at 44. You get the difference between 90 and 44. That is a lot. That is a whole lot. If you did puts, can you imagine? Well, they'd be, IV's kind of skewed. May want to do a debit. I broke my rules, and it was stupid. We're going to crack this. Bullish TA on VIX doesn't usually work. Volume will, right? You can't really do TA on the upside. You can trade bearish TA. Bearish TA works, like the hanging man. The fact that we're going to crack this and probably drop to, all the way till it reverse splits again next year sometime. So what can I do? What can I do if I'm bearish on the market and it's expensive, right? What I can do is a vertical, which is a debit spread, right? Let's just take a look at verticals. It's 40 cents. You could have captured all that downside. Why not do that? I can buy in the money at 48 cents. 48 cents. I can buy out of the money for 30 bucks. SPY's expensive now. The theta, the DK on it, price-wise, excuse me, is ridiculous. I mean, it's insane. You used to be like swing trading old school Amazon. You all remember doing that? Old school Amazon? Old school Google? Cons cooked immediately. If you swing a weekly, it just doesn't work. It's an option seller's paradise if they owned 100 shares. SPY put debit spreads as a swing. VIX puts naked as a swing. If you would like, you can do debit spreads, but I go naked on it when it pops. And it usually always works. I've lost one time. I've been testing swinging VIX puts since last year. September of last year is when I started. I was red in September. That was the only time I lost. It was actually before that. It was in August I started, and I lost in September. Obviously, we're usually bearish. We were bearish last year. This year we had rate cuts, so we had that going on with it. But that's how you'd mitigate that, and I made a mistake on VIX. That was stupid. Very stupid. Let's go over to the next mistake I made. All right, day trades were fantastic last week. Let's take a look. So we had that drop over in here in August 30th, and then we had rate cuts coming. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Right now, I've been in equity. I've been in equity since over in here on TLT, over in here. Right, actually in 86. Right, 85 to 86, 84. Yeah, my dollar cost average was right there. I've added though, so I'm sitting pretty. Right, it doesn't matter that it dropped, but here's what does matter. We'll start with the August 30th. It started to rebound and it rallied into FOMC rate decisions for 9/18, September 18th. Okay, because they knew we were going to cut rates. When they cut rates, it fell off. Even though they did a half-point cut, it fell off. No matter what even if it was 0.75, it's still going to fall off. By the anticipation, I say, this is my saying, by the anticipation, sell the event. It was a sell the news type scenario, and I bought over in here, right? Usually for swings, I only buy them when we're on a red day, like buying over here. I still wouldn't have gotten cooked. But I bought over here. We shot up that day. They were green. I sold some calls against I sold calls against it because I was a bit worried about it being a buy. I should have just closed it. I was expecting a spike. Well, we got that. It spiked up, but then immediately just sucked back and everyone sold. All the people that bought, you know what I mean? So it's buy the anticipation, sell the event scenario. It's a sell the news event. Sell the event scenario, I should say. So it rallied up, and that's what happened. That was the mistake that I made there. Should have been in over here for FOMC, right? And then been out the day prior. Or if I so happen to hold it and it dropped, who cares? Buying on a red day. You don't buy on a green day. Mistake number 1, buying on a green day. Mistake number 2, I did sell calls against it because I was worried. That was right. That saved me a lot of losses. But I should have been out the day prior. I should have been out on this day or that day right as we're at that high. I should have just been like, I'm out. I see what I did wrong here, right? And it could have more downside to 97. It absolutely could. It could correct all the way back down over here. And then look at that setup right there. Wow. Wow. Is that a bullish setup on those candlesticks? I love candlesticks. There with the gap downs. Oh my gosh. But anyways, and then we bounced right off that trend line there. Where was I? It's so hard to look at everything. Where was I going with this? I got sidetracked seeing that beautiful setup there that I missed. But yeah, we could correct down, and I expect us to probably tick back up around December when we are going to have another Fed meeting based on rates. I expect it to rally back up in anticipation for the rate cuts. When they cut rates, I expect it to fall. It's just like space, Virgin Galactic, the perfect example, right? Let's go look at space. Let's go to a weekly. This thing's going to get delisted. Let's go to a monthly. Okay, these spikes over here, there. Well, I don't know about that one. No, that was a launch. There. Here. These 3 spikes. These were launches. Successful launch, right? It was successful. Why did it fall? Look at that 1, 2, 3 reversal. Well, the reason it fell is because the event's over. So everyone who bought in anticipation for the event, the second it launches, they're out. If it launches successfully, it drops. If it launches not successfully and blows up, it drops, which is exactly what it did. Same thing with TLT. That's how it's going to go. Overall, I expect TLT to go up. I expect in 2025, maybe mid-2025, for unemployment, which is the most lagging indicator, to pick up. Unemployment's the last thing to happen, right? The companies took all that time to, just because the S&P is bullish doesn't mean the economy's good. Now, the economy's holding up pretty well right now. Still, it's starting to break, and it's like a roller coaster ride. Now it's starting to peel over right now. But just because the S&P's up doesn't mean the economy's good from how the S&P is going to be valued if AI is going to have anything to do with it in the future. I mean, it could be like Mad Max or Waterworld, and the S&P could be going up like 30% a year if it's just AI, right? If we get to that point where the company hardly has any employees and it's just AI, that money isn't going to people. It's going to robots that they own, which is just to themselves, right? So it has nothing to do with employment. It would just, you know what I mean? I'm exaggerating. I like to exaggerate to use examples, extreme examples, so you can kind of understand it a little bit better. I exaggerate a lot, and I'm very animated as well. So those of you that watch my videos, TLT doesn't look good. We are going to correct down to 95, it looks like. We're going to come all the way back down before it bounces up again. The RSI on it looks fantastic, though. Look at it. The RSI is just pushing right on back up. What I should have been doing, corporates, you know, oh my God, in 2020, they went to 21 bucks. We could have gotten in right around 24. They're at 25. We could easily see 27 again, right? These are junk bonds, although I don't necessarily like junk bonds. I do like corporates, though. High yield corporates are great. Usually some of those are junk. We could shoot right back up to this 109 range, even, you know, this 105 range on these if we can get a dip down in them, which I don't think is going to happen. We'll see, though. Look at that. You could have gotten in at 75 bucks in the '08 crash and had it rip up to 125, almost 100%, while getting anywhere from, you know, 5.5 to 7% yield. That is ridiculous. It doesn't matter if it peeled off or even if it's here. You've already doubled your position, maybe tripled your position. If you started off with 100 shares, you probably have 300 right now or more. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Those are the mistakes that I made with TLT. I did one thing right, and I did two things wrong. VIX, you never swing calls. I don't care what you say. Why not just do SPY put debit spreads? Right? Just because it's inexpensive doesn't mean it's good. And that's what lures people in a lot of times, which is why new people always do weeklies and do earnings for the following day on a Thursday, and they have earnings up. Come on. So yeah, aside from that, I'm really just looking at DJT as the main one I'm looking at next week, guys. I'm bearish on bonds. I'm bullish on DJT at some point, probably towards the end of the week. There was something else I was going to pull up here. I'll look at DJT again. BYND looks awful. Teladoc is holding somewhat. That had a nice pop off that bottom when there was a big gap down to $6, shot up to $9. Wow. Anyways, guys, I'm getting a bit off topic now. If you guys like this content, make sure to like and follow for more. Join the Discord; it's completely free. Let's keep our eyes peeled on DJT. We have elections coming up, and the share lockup is up this week, so it could drop more. I still expect there to be more buyers than there are sellers at some point. Mid this week, my eyes are on it. It could squeeze, it could pop. Keep your eyes peeled on DJT.